welcome to my first ever track guide or stage guide in Dirt Rally 2.0. This here right now we're in Rally Spain and we're in the 5K stage, probably shortest and fastest stage in terms of stage times. So right around 2 minutes 30 margin on average. But yeah, it's very hard to set a really fast time that can match the world record guys, because in this stage alone I am 9 seconds, 8 seconds slower than the world record time, and that is unbelievable knowing I pushed that hard in this stage. But you know, this video is really just to show you how I did it. Maybe to hopefully help the beginners of the game who just started off. But anyway, I'm gonna be pausing in a couple of shots or a couple of some corners there before some corners to let you know what to look out for in this stage. And then jump in the cockpit view and wait for the 5 lights. And just to note that after you launch off the car there, it's pretty much flat out. And after that first corner there, make sure to turn in late. Not too late, but just making sure you got a squarer line. Then you have make sure you don't flow through the camber. Just make sure you turn in late so you can approach the first few corners flat out.
50, 5 left into 4 right. Keep left of a 60,
with that
right,
low on the left hand corner there. You see flat out, not lifting off at all, turning in gently. And over here, you want to align the car as straight as possible, but because also note that you are still turning a little bit. It's not as straight as it can. So the wheel's not perfectly straight because you still are aware of that that kink there before the corner, and as well as you can't cut the entry because of that barrier standing in the way. So you really need to align the car perfectly. Ride the barrier if you have to. The car won't stick to it, thank God. But once you're on the brakes, the car will stick to ground, and when you turn, make sure you slow down enough so it doesn't understeer. Otherwise, you'll drift out wide through the barriers on the right-hand side.
Into 5 right, into 3 left long, tightens 2.
5 right is the corner that we're approaching right now. So 5 right is basically the 5th degradation corner. Basically, there's the pace note system, which is 6 to 1. 6 being the fastest, 1 being the slowest. We're approaching the 5th degradation, which is the second fastest corner, and coming up next he said that 3 left tightens 2. 3 left, basically what I said, third gear corner basically, and tightens 2. So at the end it tightens to 2. Basically, it degrades as it turns towards the end of the corner. So you may need to approach a bit of caution, maybe brake more as you're turning into the corner.
Into 6 right, extra long, tightens 4 long.
6 right, extra long, tightens 4 long. So basically a very, very long corner, and you really have to be very patient with this. Keep it in as much as you can, and maybe dropping down the gear if the revs get too low. But you're making sure you're modulating all brake and throttle inputs, just making sure you're keeping it riding that barrier, but not scraping, of course.
Into 6 left, into 4 right.
Through these kinks here, make sure to keep it as straight as possible, and the entry for this next one over here. And you need to turn in late again because you have no idea how much speed you can carry through there, even as narrow as it gets, because you're keeping aware of that those rocks at both sides. So try to be brave for this one. If you get away with it, then you're gonna be pretty lucky. But make sure to, on your first few runs, make sure to approach it cautiously. See what works for you.
Into 4 right, 100. 2 left, extra long.
So 100 here as approaching right now. 100, it means 100 meters straight after each obstruction, and after that 100 meters, as we're pointing towards right now, is a 2 left. So second gear corner, make sure to drop down third or second, but just slow it down enough. But make sure to keep your momentum all the way throughout this corners after that.
keep right over 20, 6 left, into 5 right long.
Keep right over 20 means you keep it to the right hand position of the road, which is here in the kinks, as keep right. If you keep to the right, you are maintaining the best possible line that's entering towards the next sequence of corners.
Opens long, 80. 5 left, extra long, into 4 right, into 2 left tightens. Two right.
Careful this corner here, because you might be able to cut that if you're brave, or you know, maybe if you slow down enough, the wheels won't slide off the corners. I am right now. Look, I'm basically trying to rotate the car because I've pretty much, you know, locked up my wheels a little bit or whatever. But trying to gain momentum, sideways motion, right there. Maybe don't try not to use the handbrake in, you know, the most in any given situation, because we're on tarmac, and when you pull the handbrake, the rear snaps instantly, and compared to when you are on loose surfaces. But if you cut this one, there's a potential the wheels will bounce off of it, and you'll understeer towards those rocks over there on the left.
Keep left over 100, over crest, 6 right long, 150, 5 right cut.
This 5 right cut here is a very deceptive one. You may have a choice to cut it or not, just depending on how it is, because you're moving so fast, you don't know when you're going to turn in, when you're going to turn in. You're playing these mind games throughout the stage. So, but the co-driver tells you to cut this corner, and which in my case, I sometimes cut it, sometimes I don't, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's pretty much a luck-based corner, because after that 5 right cut is an entry, a very, very narrow entry, because you can't turn the car as much because you're entering at a very high speed, so there's not much room to readjust your line.
Into 5 right long, 120.
Over here, so you see you're very, very close to that to the barrier in the left there, but we just narrowly miss it. And after that big scare, the close call there, I drop it down to 4th for this 5 right long here. And making sure that we stay towards the middle of the road.
4 left tightens.
Over here, we're staying towards the middle of the road here, section of this 50-meter straight, and you're looking for. If you look at that barrier there, it ends and it comes back again. You brake towards that second, the barrier where it appears again. Just before that little gap there between those two barriers. Brake just before or, you know, at that point. But just make sure you don't brake too late. Keep it in the middle of the road, because the rear might get loose when you turn in. The rear will slide out when you turn in, and it'll hit those rocks on the right hand side.
Into 6 right long, opens 60, 4 left long, big cut.
This is where it gets very technical. So, you know, you have a very few choices to do here, but you know what I can tell you now is that look at that tree there. Let me put it a bit forward here. Aim for that tree, the second tree in the left, and towards the next turn there, the apex. That's your entry point. Get towards as close to that tree as you can. Keep the foot, keep the throttle pinned as much as you can, because as he says, big cut. You have to cut that as much as you can. Not the tree, but the pavement just behind that, to really get the best and the most optimum line you can get towards that city section, towards the village. See there, cut that right now. And after this, that's very, very technical. This 4 right over here, it gets very, very narrow as you reach towards the very narrow houses. You still cut some corners after this, but you know, you let the car flow. But I'll tell you when to use left foot braking, rotate the car a little bit, just to make it round. Make sure to not lose too much grip, because it's very, very vital.
4 right.
And over here, let me put it in slow motion. As you can see there, you're turning in, the rear hasn't gone loose yet, and then you're slowing down more, pressing on the brakes more, keeping that rear loose. Make sure you avoid that house on the right hand side, and then when the rear starts to loose again, flick it towards the other side for the next corner. missing that house again, and then keeping the car planted now, cutting this pavement here, and that's it. And over here is a little, I guess, two right here, and drop it down to 30 if you have to. Make sure to not get too good because you're almost at the end of the stage. And if you go on too wide, over here you'll reach towards the dirt. That's not what you want, understeer. And don't cut too left long. So don't cut means you do not want to put two wheels too much over the apex, or as much as possible towards the apex, because there is some obstruction there that'll cause the car to dip over two wheels, roll over, or potentially cause an event that'll damage the car or end your rally. But at this case, you do not want to cut that unless if you want some two-wheel action for the last 3 corners of your stage. Using the handbrake there for that desperate bit of rotation there.
30.
And final corner here.
Right long of a finish. 80 to stop.
And that was it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and you know, it's my first time doing this, and hopefully it serves some sort of guide. But yeah, take care, have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.